We're with Garrett Winegar for our Fab 15 countdown. We're actually one game into the season now, so I'm a little late getting this up. But to have Fisher's number one going into the season, and rightly so, I think, based on what happened last year. And then, tonight, Garrett, you guys had a really good win over Ben Davis, 71-36. But just from an overall perspective of having a lot of guys back from last year's team, kind of what are your expectations for this team this year?
Yeah, I talked to the group tonight. We should be further along early in the season because we got 6 of our top 9 from back from last season. So I expect us to be further along even maybe than we were at the start of last season. Now that they have all this experience. So the key for us is everybody else is going to get better because they got new guys in the lineup. So how do we keep getting better as well? We can't be satisfied with some early season success because we are more experienced. We probably know our stuff better than most with all these guys coming back. They kind of know what I expect. So the key for us is just to continue to build every day and practice and not get stagnant and not get satisfied.
You had obviously a big leader from your team last year is graduating and playing at IU Indy now, and Keenan Garner, and then Taden Metzger obviously is a big part of your team last year too. I think was your third leading scorer, and really great 3-point shooter. How do you replace those guys? I mean, how do you kind of go about maybe trying to replace what they did or fill those blanks?
Yeah, I think how well Taden shot the ball. I think he was the best shooter in the state last year, and everything that Keenan brought, not just on the floor, but his leadership and all those things. I don't really think you replace it. I just think we become different, and different doesn't always have to mean worse. I think we can improve in certain areas of the game. Other areas we might not be as strong, but it's definitely those guys are mature guys. They're leaders, both of them. They lead in different ways, but they're both leaders. Like coming back tonight when they're both playing college basketball, just to be here for our program, that's what we want it to be about. So really for me, it's like I think we'll figure the on-court stuff out. It's how do we replace how those guys led. Keenan led with his vocal energy, with his talk, and Taden led in his own way, pulling guys to the side and, just being a guy that would do those things. So that's really, I think we'll figure the on-court replacement out. It's how to replace the leadership and the maturity that they brought our program.
Well, and one of those guys I think that will do that's John Anthony Hall, who saw a couple instances tonight of him doing those sorts of things, and obviously he does it in 3 sports, and including for your team. But just start with him. What does he bring to the table for you guys this season? Not only from a points and whatever and stats, but from that standpoint.
Yeah, I mean basketball-wise, I think he's the most underappreciated, underrated, whatever you want to say, player in the state. I mean, he's a junior all-star, and I see all these write-ups about us, and no one says anything about John Anthony. I'm like, he's our leading returning scorer, junior all-star, best defender on the team, best rebounder on the team, can score when he needs to, but doesn't care if he scores, makes the right play. And then obviously off the floor, he's really kind of grown into that leader for us. I saw him do it on the football field, help lead them to a sectional championship, and now just like when he walks in the gym, it's like just another adult's in the gym. That's kind of how I feel about him. And that's, he's got great parents that have raised him the right way. I mean, to be able to play 3 sports and do it successfully like he has at this level just really speaks more to his maturity than anything. Obviously, he's very gifted, but to have that kind of discipline and consistency that you can go from. I mean, he showed up, they lost in the regional. He showed up Saturday with his practice gear on. I had to tell him, hey, you're not practicing today. Like, you're taking one day for me, and he's ready to go Monday. So that's just who he is. I mean, he's a grinder and he's a leader, and I'm excited for him to be here this year. And he's always a guy you can tell everybody else, like, John Anthony doesn't need to be here. Like, he's going to Stanford. He's going to hopefully play on Sundays one day, but he's here because he wants to help our program win, and that's contagious.
You have some other seniors on this team too, but wanted to ask you too about the 2 freshmen you had last year, Cooper Zachary and Jason Gardner Jr. And tonight's game, Gardner I think had 23 and really played. I mean, it looks like and we kind of knew this in the summer watching him play. He's kind of going to another level, and obviously Cooper, it was so good last year. Just those guys' maturity. What are your sort of your thinking on what their expectations will be this year?
Yeah, I mean, I truly believe we have the 2 best point guards in the 27 class in the Midwest, and I think they're on the same team. So that's pretty good. So, I mean, obviously, both those guys played huge minutes for us last year. They were both in our top 6 minutes as freshmen, which is just unheard of. For Cooper to start and be a starting point guard on the state championship team as a freshman at 4A, I think he's the first one to ever do it. And then obviously Jason just got better every day throughout the season last year. And then finally, last year we didn't have him in the summer, so getting a full summer with him, a full off season. Him and I building a relationship, gaining trust in me. I obviously trust him, and just us getting to that point where we kind of are connected. You know, Cooper and I had that a little earlier, but now I feel like we all have it. So Jason's making the right play every time. If teammate's open, he's passed to him. If he can get to the rim and score, he's scoring. If his shot's there, he's taking it. Like, he's just kind of putting that whole game together. And, you know, I think he's got a chance to be special. And then Cooper just impacts the game in every facet of the game. Like, he had, I think, 9 points tonight, but he's a guy who could score 0 points and be the best player on the floor. I mean, he defends at a high level. He's pressuring 84 feet. He's getting his teammates open. He's setting screens. He's cutting hard. He's a leader out there. He's talking. He's seeing things on the floor that even I don't see. So to have 2 point guards of that caliber, I mean, as long as we can stay loving each other as a team and you know, our older guys are great about empowering those guys as young guys, I think those two can, you know, sky's the limit.
And you get some seniors too. Millen McCartney, I think, is going to be in line for a good year for you guys. Really shoots the ball well, and you know, he's maybe he's a guy who kind of fills that. You know, he had a role last year, but that outside shooting role, and then you know, Nathan Took tonight, I thought he showed the ability to knock down shots. How about those guys, and also, you know, some of your other guys?
Yeah, all those guys, Logan Sigler, Nathan Baker, Millen McCartney, Justin Kirby, those seniors coming back along with John Anthony, they've all put so much time in their game that we have utmost confidence in any of them stepping out and just shooting a three. Obviously, Millen played that role last year as well. I mean, he was 43% on like 86 attempts or something. This year, that's going to go up without Tatum out there. But those other three, too, they've worked their butts off on. You know, they've spent hundreds of hours on that gun out there, and they've put their time in, and they're all confident, willing to step out and shoot it. And that's maybe what a lot of people don't know about Nathan and Logan, but those guys can shoot the basketball, and they're confident to do so because they put in the work, and we believe in them to shoot it. So, I mean, we're super confident in all four of those guys, along with John Anthony and our seniors, and not only what they provide on the floor, but off the floor and who they are as people. They're just, I mean, they're a class that when we got the job here, they were 8th graders, you know, so we kind of, that summer had them in camp going into their 8th grade year, and then have been able to be with them and really develop them and be a part of their lives. So it's really special to see them now having the success they're having with all 5 of those guys going to play college basketball and John Anthony going to play college football. So
what's the biggest challenge for you guys? You know, as you get into this season, you know, it's a different, you know, you have the target on you now as the defending champs, but you know, what is sort of the challenge with this team, do you think, the most?
Yeah, I think number one is just fighting complacency and, you know, some of the entitlement that comes with winning. Like, been telling our team, you know, hard times create strong men, easy times create weak men, pretty much. Like, you can't let success change how you've worked to get us to this point. Like, you guys have built our program. Let's not let it go the other way. And then on the floor, just rebounding and size. You know, obviously we're not huge. Like, we're big at the guard position, but, you know, when we have to guard teams with, you know, 6'10", 6'11" post guys, how do we handle that? You know, what are we going to do scheme-wise to make sure we can, you know, guard them well, and just on the glass, we got to really be a force on the glass. Keenan made up so much of our rebounding last year that we really got to replace him there in the rebounds and make sure everybody's boxing out, our bigs are fighting, and our guards are checking down and helping them board.
Good. Thanks, Garrett. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, Kyle.